Hello and welcome to ReallyBigHat. My name is Jared, and this is once again D&D Builds Baldur's Gate 3 style. Today I have what I consider probably one of the best beginner builds for Baldur's Gate 3, the Fighter Barbarian. So what I'm going to be doing is the same as last time. I'm going to be going into the character respec screen and building a character from level 1 to level 6, because that's a generally good place to expect to be at the end of Act 1, roughly. So I am going to be going there. There will be minor spoilers for some of your companions' abilities, and there will be minor spoilers for a fight that is towards the end of Act 1 that I will be using to demonstrate. So if you are trying to still avoid spoilers at this point, this is your warning. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop over to Baldur's Gate 3 and get to the build. So here we are at the respec screen for level 1, and we are going to be starting our career out as a fighter. There is a version of this build where you take 5 levels of Barbarian and then the rest fighter, but for this build especially, I'm going to highly recommend that you take 5 levels of fighter and then 1 of Barbarian to get to level 6, because you don't get Action Surge until level 2 of fighter, so if you did this in reverse, you wouldn't have access to Action Surge as a Barbarian 5 Fighter 1. But at Fighter level 1, we do get Second Wind, which is a bonus action we can use for a short burst of healing, which is very useful in a pinch. For our fighting style, I'm going to recommend defense again. We could definitely go for great weapon fighting for this build, because I am typically going to recommend using heavy two-handed weapons with this, and maybe even taking the Great Weapon Master feat. But defense is a good baseline fighting style to just always choose if you don't have a very specific other build in mind. The rest of them are all pretty good. I mean, you could dual wield, use 2-weapon fighting. Like I said, you could use great weapon fighting, you could sword and board, go dueling, or you could focus on ranged combat and go archery. Fighters are very flexible in what kind of weapons they want to specialize in. But as for our abilities, I'm going to bring Strength up to 16, Dexterity up to 14, Constitution up to 16, drop Intelligence to 8, leave Wisdom at 12, and Charisma at 8. And for our skill proficiencies, we have Athletics, Acrobatics, Perception, Survival, and Intimidation. Once again, Athletics and Intimidation are coming from the soldier background, so those are variable to that. And we are getting 1 extra skill from being a human. But that about clears up Fighter level 1. It's very straightforward, so we will just move along to level 2. So, at Fighter level 2, we get some extra hit points, and we get Action Surge. This is the bread and butter of being a fighter. This is your creme de la creme feature. This is just the best thing you're going to get as a fighter, bar none. We get to just choose to take an extra action once per short rest. So that's 3 times a day, basically, that we can get an extra action in a round of combat. And once we get extra attack, that action can be used to attack 2 more times, because it's part of the same attack action. And we could use this to multi-class with spellcasters and fire off 2 spells in a round if you want. There's just so many things you can do with Action Surge. It is ridiculous, and it is an S-class feature. Anyway, moving on to level 3. This is where we can actually start to make some choices as a fighter, and that's going to depend on our subclass. For this, I'm definitely going to recommend Battle Master. Champion, if you want to have less features to worry about, you can just take that improved critical hit straight to the bank and start critting on a 19 and not have to worry about what you're doing as a fighter at all. But if you want to pump out a little bit more damage, round by round, definitely I would say pick Battle Master and get some maneuvers under your belt. Now for this video, I'm going to recommend Menacing Attack, Pushing Attack, and Riposte. All 3 of these are pretty good. There's plenty of other good maneuvers, however, so don't feel you're locked into these. Precision attack, if you really want to be accurate, that's a good one. Sweeping attack can attack multiple enemies. Trip attack can knock creatures prone. Disarming attack can knock the weapon out of their hand, and then you can pick it up, and they will have no weapon. So there's a number of good options, but my favorite three are definitely Menace, Push, and Riposte. With Menacing attack, you deal an extra D8 and possibly frighten your target. With Push attack, you deal an extra D8 and possibly push them back 15 feet. That can be very useful for knocking people off cliffs or off buildings or off whatever high point they happen to be on. And Riposte lets you use your reaction to make a melee attack against somebody who misses you with a melee attack. And with our better than average AC, that's going to happen more often than not. So, that's level 3 of Fighter under our belts. Let's move right along to level 4. Like I said, this is a very beginner-friendly build because there aren't too many real decisions to make. But here is another one. Right here, we have the decision between taking Great Weapon Master or taking Ability Improvement and bumping up our Strength. For simplicity's sake, I'm going to say just bump up your Strength here. And then at Fighter level 5, we do get extra attack. We can now attack twice instead of once whenever we take the attack action. When we action surge, that is now 4 attacks in a round. And then finally, level 6, the capstone of this particular build for Act 1, we are going to take our 1 Barbarian level, and we are going to get access to Rage. That is a bonus action where we can enter a Rage state. We deal 2 extra damage with melee and improvised weapons, and when throwing objects. And we take half damage from bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. We can't concentrate on spells, and we can't wear heavy armor while raging. So that is why I still have my medium armor on instead of my heavy armor, because if we are going to take Barbarian levels, you need to keep it medium. We also get unarmored defense, so we could technically go unarmored and use that calculation for our stats, but I find, by and large, most medium armor you're going to find in the game, especially anything with a +1 or a +2 or, greater, is going to have better AC than your unarmored defense calculation. But that is all that there is for this level of Barbarian. We already have proficiency in simple martial weapons and shields, so this doesn't affect us. We already have all that. And yeah, that is the build. Level 1 to 6, easy peasy. We only have to multi-class once. That's the most complicated thing that we have to do is choose our Battle Master maneuvers. So, very beginner friendly, but also very powerful. It's a very straightforward build, but by no means is it underpowered by any stretch of the imagination. So let's go ahead and get into some combat and show it off. So here we are once again before the Githyanki encounter, and I just wanted to go over my equipment setup real quick. I have a lot of the same stuff on, but there are a few differences. I still have the haste helm on, so we're getting momentum for the start of combat. That lasts for 3 turns, so that's a little bit of extra movement speed for us. I have +1 breastplate on, that is medium armor, so that means that we can still rage. That is why I'm not wearing heavy armor for this build. Gotta wear medium, or else you will not be able to rage in combat. I have the Gloves of the Growling Underdog on. These are really cool. We gain advantage on melee attack rolls when surrounded by 2 or more foes. So, we don't even have to reckless attack a lot of the time. And that's good for us because we don't actually have reckless attack yet at level 6. We get that next level. So this is a very good stopgap measure to kind of get a version of reckless attack. We have to be surrounded to do it, but that happens more often than not, especially when you get into melee combat. I also have just some basic metallic boots on. There are some other boots I could have equipped, but none of them really did anything for this build particularly. So, just going to go with the basic metallic boots, get some +1 to athletics. I do have the Everburn Blade on. I did steal that from the commander in the prologue, so, you know, yay for me. If you don't have this, the Sword of Justice is another good great sword, and you can actually concentrate on Shield of Faith when you have that on. I wouldn't recommend that for this build, though, because once you go into Rage, you stop concentrating on all spells, even ones you got from weapons. So other than this, I would be looking for maybe like a glaive or something that's really cool, or a maul. There are a couple of good enchanted mauls that you can find before here. I've got a few, but I decided to just use the Everburn Blade because it's, I guess, technically the least spoilery of all of the weapons. And I also have a Titan String Bow. It does extra damage equal to your strength modifier, and this is a strength-based character, so that is good for us. Means we've got some good range damage that we can dish out. I also still have the same rings on, Ring of Poison Resistance, and a Spurred Band. So we resist poison damage, and if we start our turn with 50% hit points or less, we gain momentum. So, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get on to the Githyanki. Oh, there goes Gale's False Life. Ooh, Shadowheart gets crit. Ouch. Oh, twice. Wow. Yeah, Shadowheart almost got taken out right away. So we're going to have our work cut out for us. We're actually going to be able to show off our build this time. So, let's begin with a Rage. Rawr. And let's see here. Let's go for a menacing attack on one of the archers. Yeah.
You've made a grave mistake.
We miss. Of course we miss. We do not use up our superiority die if we miss a maneuver. So you can keep spamming them until you hit. We miss again. Of course. Action Surge. Let's keep going. There we go. We frightened them. And let's go for a pushing attack, just for funsies. And it does kill them. There we go. So it was not a waste of an Action Surge. And we'll start getting into melee with the melee people. So Shadowheart is in a bad state. Yeah, if I had not cast a 3rd level aid before this combat encounter, she would be down right now. So, what am I going to have her do? Once again, I just have these companions set to as default as I could get them, but I'm still going to be using proper tactics for them to show not just what the build is like, but what the rest of your party would averagely look like at these levels. So I think I'm just going to go for a... Well, no, we are poisoned, so... You know what? I'm just going to YOLO. I'm going to put on Spirit Guardians. And I'm going to rush in. I'm just going to do whatever damage I can. And then I'll Healing Word myself at 2nd level. Okay, we get to riposte. Let's do it. We miss. We keep missing. They're action surging on us. We're taking half damage from all the slashing because we're a barbarian, but we still took a healthy chunk there. So we are going to have Astarion sneak attack her, I believe. Hope he hits. Nope. So let's see here. Let's have him back off and hide. So that he can get advantage next turn, hopefully. And Gale, we'll just have you move up and pull out Old Reliable, the Fireball. See how many we can hit. Looks like just 2. And this is Evocation Gale, so Fireball is not hitting your allies. Otherwise, you would have to be a little more careful with your positioning and the positioning of the Fireball itself. Okay, we do save against Hold Person. That's good. Shadowheart goes down. Okay, so let's go for a cleave. Let's try and hit both of them. We get 1. And then we'll go for a menacing attack on this guy. And that'll finish him off. We are starting to get low, so let's go for a second wind. Pump ourselves back up. And see where the rest of the turns take us. Okay, so let's try and sneak attack her again. This time with advantage. Okay, she does parry most of it, but hey. We got her. Do we have the movement speed to get in there? No, we don't. So, I'm just going to hide again. Rogue's gonna rogue. And we're gonna throw out another fireball at her. We can't get both of them. We don't have the radius for that. I don't think. Oh, no, we do. Just barely. Let's do it. Yep. Fireball coming in clutch. Like I said last time, if you didn't know about Fireball and Spirit Guardians, now you know. Okay, so that guy Misty Steps and throws Gale off a cliff. It's going to make it tough for our character to get to him, but I think we still have some options. Oh, and it's going to take a second to end the turn. That's fine. Okay, can Astarion get a shot on this guy from anywhere? Let's try. No, we don't have enough movement. Let's dash. See if we can get into range. Okay, he has to get all the way up there. I wonder if we're going to be able to stay in stealth. We do just manage it. So, yeah, Astarion finishes it off with a sneak attack. Good job. Alright, so that was a much better demonstration of our primary character than last time. Let's go ahead and help Shadowheart up just for the sake of it. I'm not saving after these encounters so that I can do them again, so it's not like I was going to lose her or anything, but... yeah, it's still just common courtesy. But yeah, that was the Fighter Barbarian. As you can see, we are still left with half health, and if we had not been in a rage, we might have gone down. So that is a testament to just what one Barbarian level can do for a fighter. Yeah, so this is really just a combat-focused build above everything else, so I don't think there's really anything else to show off other than that combat right there. So I will go ahead and sign off here. I will say I will see you guys next time. Later.